Here, back again with another, not really another, because this is the first time I'm actually doing this, but this is going to be over One Piece, the manga, and where it is right now. So right now we are in the Wano Kuni or Wano Country Arc, and it has been really good, really well paced, and really well written and drawn by Ichiro Oda. And I have to say that it's getting pretty good. It's getting real good. And obviously, by the title of this video, it is the first act of Wano. And that is because recently, actually last week, Oda said that this is the end of the first act and that the chapter will be on break this week. So that means that I don't have a chapter to read tomorrow, or well, today, because this is when this is going to be uploaded. But yes, so I won't be able to read the next chapter until next week, and I'm hoping there's a buffer chapter, or like we go back to Reverie, which is the arc before Wano, which I have to say was a good arc as well. It's very small. But it was just getting us reintroduced back to some of the other characters, some of the princesses, some of the kings, and getting introduced to new kings and all this other stuff. So that's pretty cool. But we are all here for the first act of Wano. And if you guys don't know what the Wano arc is, it is like the arc that Oda has been wanting to draw and write since probably since the very beginning of One Piece. And now he has finally gotten to do it. And I have to say, it's really well drawn, and it looks amazing. It's stunning, and the fact that it's in acts, or well, what it's known for is, well, in Japan they have like these plays or whatever, and within these plays there are like 5 acts or whatever, and the first act is like you get introduced to some of the stuff. It's very slow, but it's still like towards the end it picks up and all this, and then the second, third, and fourth acts are kind of like the fast pace. There's a lot of action. There's just a bunch of stuff, and then the fifth and final act is like the like wrap up. Like we gotta go. Like, you know, we gotta do this really fast. So that's pretty much what these acts, or what it's called. It's called a name. I don't remember the exact name for it, but if you look at some of the other One Piece YouTubers and all that, they'll tell you. But if you guys don't know what the Wano arc is, the Wano Country Arc is the 31st story arc in One Piece, and it is the 4th in the Yonko Saga, which is, you know, the 4 Emperors of the Sea. You know, you got Shanks, you got Big Mom, you got Kaido, and you had Whitebeard, but now it's Blackbeard. So there's that, and obviously, like I said, it's continuing off of the Reverie Arc. So there's that, and there's the little synopsis here, or a little summary of what the Wano arc is. It is the Ninja-Pirate-Mink-Samurai Alliance sets their plan in motion to recruit allies within Wano Country to liberate it from the control of the Beast Pirates, led by Kaido and their ally, the shogun of Wano Country, Kurozumi Orochi, which we haven't seen Orochi yet, but we have seen Kaido and actually what Kaido can do. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff here, and the first act of Wano covers chapters 909 to 924. So that is the first act of Wano, and I have some of the main points that are pretty much in the story and that go through chapters 909 to 924. So the first one here is we finally get to see Marco make his first appearance after the time skip, which, if you guys know and have been watching One Piece, I know that I'm doing this at a weird time and I'm only covering Wano when I should have been, doing One Piece stuff earlier. But now I feel like it's very popular, and it's the right time to start making some videos on this. So, first off is Marco. We know Marco, he's the 1st Division commander of the Whitebeard Pirates, and since, the Whitebeard Pirates pretty much disbanded since Whitebeard died in Marineford, they tried to do a comeback war against Blackbeard, and it failed horribly. So the crew went their separate ways, and Marco ended up going to Whitebeard's home island and staying there. And he's a doctor, so he's been helping out the town and all this other stuff. And that's actually where Whitebeard and Ace's graves are at. So a little fun fact there. The next one is Nekomamushi has found Marco, who works as a doctor on Whitebeard's home island. Yes, I pretty much just said that. But yes, Nekomamushi from the Minks tribe on Zo. He found Marco on Whitebeard's home island, and it's because of that, because he wants to see if Marco would want to come with him to Wano, because the Straw Hats are going to be there and all this other stuff. And Marco says no because of the threat that Edward Weevil will most likely come to Whitebeard's island, because Edward Weevil proclaims to be the son of Whitebeard and all this other stuff. And Marco refuses to do that because if he leaves the island and goes to Wano, then, the island would be not protected at all, and anything could happen to it. And especially like the defacing of graves, that is very, very horrible to do. So that's why he's staying in Whitebeard's home island. We don't know the name of it, but we do know that it's Whitebeard's home island. But instead, he did tell Nekomamushi to give a message to Luffy. So hopefully whenever Nekomamushi shows up with his, I think they're called the Guardians. Yeah, with his Guardians and him come to Wano. Hopefully that will he will give us that message to Luffy from Marco. And it was also revealed that Bakken and Whitebeard used to be on the same ship for 40 years prior to the present time. Now, I'm pretty sure I probably glossed over this, or when I was reading it, I didn't pay too much attention to this, but apparently Whitebeard and some guy were on a crew, and yeah, I don't know. Then we get the final reveal that Basil Hawkins is a subordinate of Kaido. And with that, we also see that we knew prior that when Kaido tried to kill himself by jumping off of the Sky Island and landing right in the meeting place where Kid, Hawkins, Apu, and like pretty much anybody within that area, I think it was just them, but pretty much it was like they tried to fight him, didn't go out well, and some of them, actually all of them except for Kid, became a subordinate of Kaido, and Kid still tried to fight him. So Kid got put into jail in chapter 824, which I will get to in a bit, towards the end actually, because there's a little fun fact or a little tidbit thing on what happens. Next we meet Hitetsu, and Hitetsu is pretty much like an old, like, I don't know what you'd call him. He's like I don't know, he's just a big dude that, he's a samurai really. I don't know. I can't really explain it. But we get revealed to a 8-year-old girl called Otama, or just Tama, because the prefix O is, and all that. But we find out that she met Ace 4 years ago. And obviously, 4 years ago, Ace was still alive. And apparently he traveled and landed at Wano. So that was pretty cool. And while Ace was there, he promised to come back to Wano and let Otama join his crew. And his crew at the time was the Spade Pirates. So, yeah. There's kind of some little tidbits here and there that we're going to get some flashbacks from Ace through Otama, which is pretty cool. And in the story, she says that Luffy reminds her of Ace or whatever. But in the chapters or whatever, or in one of the chapters, Luffy just says, "Yeah, he's dead," and she pretty much goes into a coma. So I was kind of pissed at how Oda did that because he made Luffy say it really bluntly. He was like, "Oh yeah, Ace, yeah, he's dead." Yeah, he's dead. So I was kind of pissed about that because I was like, this is an 8-year-old girl who wanted to join a crew of pirates and travel the world, because she's never left Wano, because Wano is a closed-in country, so their borders are closed in and not open, and that is what Kiyomon and Momonosuke and Raizo and Kanjuro, all of them, all the Kozuki clan, they're trying to open up the borders of Wano so that way we can have free trade and everybody can get used to the outside world. But Kaido and Orochi don't want that, and Kaido doesn't really care, but Orochi doesn't, and he is now the shogun of Wano and is pretty much the ruler. So there's that. Next, we find out that Luffy is trying to go and fight Kaido, really. That's pretty much what he's trying to do. But there are many steps that he has to go through to get there. And he tries to, because we find out that the 8-year-old Tama, she's training to be a Kunoichi, so, that's a female ninja. And so she's trying to do that. She's trying to train, become stronger and all this. But the thing is, her rations of food and stuff are really low. And she only eats, these little, I forgot what it was called. But, she only eats, small little things and then drinks water. But the water is from the river. And the river is poisoned because of the factories that are being run by Kaido's crew. So pretty much, Wano is not this thriving, country that we thought it was. Only in a certain area called the Flower Capital. That's the only, good place. It's thriving. There's a lot of colors and all this other stuff. There's a giant freaking, cherry blossom tree or whatever. It's only in a certain area that is good. And then, obviously, all the stuff, or all the outside areas are all contaminated by the factories. And because of this, Luffy needs to take Otama to, because she's poisoned from the factory river water and all that, he needs to take her to somebody, a doctor, or somebody who can heal her and all this. So Luffy ends up leaving, but when he leaves, he ends up taking a sword. Now, because this is Wano Country, or Wano Kuni, which is technically a country, since this is Wano Kuni, you have to be a samurai to be here, or a geisha, or a ninja, or Kunoichi. So, it's kind of you have to dress the part and all this. So Luffy ends up taking a sword from Hitetsu. Now, the problem is the sword that Luffy ends up taking is the Nidai Katetsu. Now, if you guys know, the Nidai Katetsu is stronger than Zoro's Katetsu sword. And it's also a cursed blade as well. So the thing is there's this whole gimmick between Zoro and Luffy when Luffy ends up meeting Zoro eventually. Zoro wants to see the sword, but Luffy doesn't want to give it to him, or he just ignores his question. Like, Luffy, let me see that. Like, let me see it. Like, I can see what you have. Let me look at it. But, you know, that doesn't happen because the way that Luffy fights, obviously we know. He uses his hands because, you know, that's all he can do. But what he does is he grabs the sword and then goes like this and stretches out his arms. And so when he punches one person, he's cutting the other, like, people that are around him. And, you know, because it's a cursed blade, it needs, you know, it thirsts for blood and it kills anybody in sight. So that is the one problem that Luffy has with this thing, because he doesn't know how to use it. And next, we find out that the Beast Pirates have conquered Wano completely, and are turning it into, a wasteland, like I said. It's becoming a wasteland because all the factories and stuff, so it's polluting the area, and then also the rivers are getting polluted, and they're being poisoned water, so every animal is being poisoned because they're drinking the water, and Otama got poisoned because she drank the water, so it's horrible, and that pisses Luffy off. Next, we get reintroduced, like I said, to Basil Hawkins. We find out that he's a subordinate of Kaido, around the same time when he shows up and tries to fight Luffy and Zoro. And we find out that his devil fruit is called the Woro Woro no Mi, or I think it was like the let me see real quick. I should have looked this up before I did this, but I want to make sure. I'm trying to find like the English version of it so I can tell you. Oh yes, the straw fruit. I was thinking that's what it was, but I wasn't sure. So yes, we get introduced to Basil Hawkins' devil fruit. It's called the Woro Woro no Mi, or the straw fruit, and we found out like way before in Sabaody that his fruit, or whatever his power or whatever, is to create these little straw like nesting dolls or whatever, but every time he gets hit, that's like taking a life out of him, and he has like multiple lives, but some of them are being, they get taken out, but then he can put them back in because it's somebody else's life. So once he gets like slashed or killed or whatever, that gets transferred over to somebody else who is binded to the little straw nesting doll or whatever. So we get introduced to that, and we also get introduced to a sword as well, except it's weird. It's a weird sword. It's also a straw sword as well, but it like extends and is really weird. But it's kind of cool. Next, we find out that the Kozuki family, which is Momonosuke and all that, they conquered Wano completely, or they ruled, not conquered. They ruled over Wano 20 years ago, and we found out that Momonosuke said that he met Roger, and we didn't believe him, obviously, because he's an 8-year-old kid. So we obviously couldn't believe, like, how can this 8-year-old kid have met Roger before? But then we find out a little bit later in the story, which I'll get to in a second. Next, we find out that Jack is revealed to be one of the to be a ruler of one of Wano's like little regions or whatever you want to call it, and it's the region of Curry, which we also found out that he was saved from his shipwreck after his failed attack on Zoe, because Zunisha beat the crap out of his ship with her trunk. So Now here is the part where we get into why everything is the way it is. We find out that there's a prophecy made by Odin's wife that states that 9 figures who worked under Odin will take Orochi's life and open the borders of Wano in 20 years. So like we said, Momonosuke said that he met Roger 20 years ago, and the Kozuki family ruled 20 years ago. Now here is how we found out why he met Roger and what happened. Kiyomon revealed that Momonosuke, Kanjuro, Raizo, and Okiku and himself have traveled 20 years from the past due to Lady Kozuki, or Toki, who has the Toki Toki no Mi, or the Time fruit, which, with her ability, she could only jump forward in time and never go back. So that's the only downside to having the Toki Toki no Mi, or the Time fruit. You can only go into the future, and you can choose how many years you want to go. So she sent all of them, Momo and the retainers of the Kozuki clan, she sent them into the future, and they arrived at Wano, the current Wano that it is, and they have gone into hiding, and they have left the island to try to find some people, and that's when they ran into Luffy and all that on Punk. That's where Kiyomon met them on Punk's Hazard, and then they went on from there, and then in Dressrosa we found, we met Kanjuro, and then we found Raizo at Zo, and then we meet Okiku here at Wano. So there's that. So we get revealed to a Time Devil Fruit. That's cool. The only downside is like I said, you can't go into the past, but you can go into the future. It doesn't matter how many years you want to go, you can just go. But Lady Toki, she decided that it's time to stop, and that's another, okay, I just did a meme, alright. It's time to stop jumping into the future and stuff, and she met Odin, fell in love with him, had kids with him, Momo, and we actually get introduced to that Momo has a sister called Hiyori. We don't know where she's at. A lot of theories say that she is Otama, or that she could be a lot older, because if she stayed behind and then, Lady Toki died, and then the Devil Fruit got passed on to Hiyori, then, either she could technically jump into the future as well, or she could have just stayed in Wano throughout this whole time and have just gotten older. But I honestly think that she might have been, she either has the fruit and she jumped, or she has the fruit and she stayed. It's one of those two. That's what I think. Because sure, it could be Otama. I don't mind it. It would be kind of cool. But Otama already has a devil fruit that she can pull mochi balls off of her face and tame animals and stuff. That is not the Toki Toki no Mi. That is completely different. So I would like to say that Lady Hiyori is somewhere in Wano. I would like to see her. If she's older or if she's still the same. Because she is younger than Momonosuke, who is 8. But there's another thing too, is we get introduced to some of these other characters. We get introduced to Shinobu, who is a Konoichi, and she has the rot, or the mature fruit, because she thinks she's a hot, sexy, Konoichi, but in reality, she's not. And what it does is, when she touches something, it will rot or mature and, dissolve over time. But people are wanting to know if it can be also used on humans, and if she can mature Momonosuke and make him grow up to be the rightful age to be the heir of Wano, to become the leader and everything. And within this, we also, I don't know why this is not one of the key points in here that I have, but we get introduced to Kaido's devil fruit. He has a Chinese dragon devil fruit that, well, he can transform into a dragon. Or, it's stated that it's a devil fruit, but a lot of people thought that maybe he was a dragon at first that ate a devil fruit to make him become an Oni person, like, because you know how Chopper's fruit is mono human, so it would be like one of those, but mono Oni or something like that, because his skin is so tough and hard to penetrate and all that. I mean, sure, he does have scars and stuff, but that has to be from either before he had that or not. But I don't know, because it says that he can transform into a dragon, so we don't know for sure if it's a devil fruit. I think it is, but I wouldn't mind if it was the other way, if he was a dragon first, because dragons have hard scales, so it would make sense if that transferred over to him being a human. But I don't know, his human form's kind of pretty OP, because he smacked the crap out of Luffy with his club and he deflated. So, well, at this point, we get introduced, or we get some knowledge on Wano, and that is that Hawkins reveals to Trafalgar Law that the sea stone originates from Wano. So all these sea prism stone or sea stone or whatever it's called that the Marines have and all this, it all originates from Wano. So somehow that must have been mass produced, and it's out there because the Marines have it. So I don't know. And with this, we had an epic fight with Kaido and Luffy. Although yes, it was one-sided. It was just that Kaido wanted to see how much damage can Luffy actually do, because Kaido is he's on a suicide kick. He's trying to kill himself because he doesn't want to live, and he's too strong, and he just doesn't want to do it anymore. So he tests Luffy's strength, and then when he's had enough, he grabbed his club, did Divine Thunder, and just whacked Luffy out of Gear Force, and he deflated, got knocked unconscious, and yes, he is thrown in jail. And when they were trying to pick up Luffy, he used Conqueror's Haki. And we get this scene from Kaido that says that this kid brat in the cell, or in jail or whatever, also has Conqueror's Haki. So it is revealed that Eustace, Captain Kidd, has Conqueror's Haki, and that also Lord Odin possessed it as well. So that was kind of cool to see that not only did Kidd, have Conqueror's Haki like, Luffy and everybody else that has it, also Odin did, the ruler of Wano. Like, that was pretty cool. Now, back to the whole part of why I said stuff about Kidd being thrown in jail at Chapter 824. That is because Luffy was thrown into jail at Chapter 924. So there was 100 chapter difference to when Kidd was thrown in jail, and now Luffy is thrown in jail. Because, we had the whole events from Whole Cake and Reverie and now Wano. So there's a lot of stuff. And I know that this is pretty much a long video because it's me going over everything that pretty much happened. Most of the big main points about what happened in Wano of the first act. But what are my thoughts on it? Well, let's just say I love it. Wano Country is it's becoming a really, really good arc. I do like how it's put into like acts, like kind of like a play. I do like that, and it just shows how well Oda how well and how long Oda wanted to draw this, because the chapters look amazing, and the atmosphere and everything, it looks surreal, and it makes you actually like, once this gets animated, I feel like it's going to be a lot darker in the anime than, you know, just a black and white picture. But I don't know. It might be the same, it might not. I don't know, because Whole Cake is still going on in the anime right now. This weekend is Too Long Carrot, so I gotta watch that. And yeah, pretty much, guys. Yeah, if you guys want to see more One Piece stuff, I mean, obviously I'm gonna do this, but I'm gonna do it over the acts of Wano, so that way it's like I can just run down everything and not just go, oh yeah, here's what happened in this chapter, here's what happened in this chapter, here's what happened in this chapter. Which, don't get me wrong, I credit all the YouTubers that do that, because it's amazing that you can go through and, you know, review everything that pretty much happened, and, you know, you get some good positive feedback and stuff like that. But I want to do it in a more compact way that is a little bit more efficient, for me at least, because it's throwing everything out there that is very important and what we needed to know. Because, well, one, obviously, like I said, we find out that Kaido possibly has a devil fruit. We don't know if it is, because it's not really stated. It just says he can transform into a dragon. So we don't know. We found out that there is a time fruit. And we found out that Kid and Odin possess Conqueror's Haki. So a lot of stuff happened in Wano in the first arc. But obviously, guys, if you want to get a more in-depth view, please go read the chapters yourself, or check out some of the other anime YouTubers that do it. I mean, I watch a lot of anime YouTubers, yeah, that do One Piece. I watch 3 of them that do One Piece, like, religiously. So, and if you guys know who I'm talking about, then, yep. That's pretty much it for me, guys. I'm like stumbling on what I want to say. This video has gone on pretty long, and it will be a little bit longer once I add in my intro and outro and all this other stuff. So if you guys did like this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Leave some comments down below on what did you guys think about Wano, the first act at least. What was the most exciting thing to find out, or what is the most you know, thing you want to be revealed in the next couple of arcs, or the next acts, or whatever, in Wano. And if you are new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to be notified anytime I upload a video, which I probably won't be posting another one of these until after the second act, and once I have a lot more other stuff to go on. So there's that, and that's it for me. So I guess I'll bye, guys, and see you next time.
Tell me pretty lies, look me in the face. Tell me that you love me, even if it's fake. 'Cause I don't care at all. You've been out all night, I don't know where you've been. You're slurring all your words, not making any sense.